and people talk about अगले 5 साल में India World Cup खेलेगी. Come on, man, you gotta be kidding me. You have to be fucking blind to say that, and you have to be fucking dumb to even say that India 10 साल में World Cup खेलेगा. The only reason India can play in World Cup in 10 years is अगर 32 से हटा, मतलब 8-10 से हटा के 32 टीमें कर दी जाएं, और India again throws out money and says we'll host World Cup.
Hello guys and hi everyone. Welcome to the show, which is presented by Mlympix in association with Branding Funda. So my name is Rishabh. I'm from Mlympix. I have with me Raghav.
Hi.
He is from Branding Funda, and this is our first digital interview / interaction, so-called casual interaction podcast, so to say. And our first guest is Sarthak Mishra. I know him from school, so apna thoda personal hai, but and he's looking nice with that mustache. So he's currently resided in Australia, where he is the development officer at the Football West there, and the whole conversation will be about to know him and what he is doing, and how the game and the sport and the management works and can be improved. So let's begin, and so welcome Sarthak Bhaiya. How are you? How are you doing, and how that this Corona time has impacted you?
Well, thanks for having me, guys, first of all, and I hope everyone's doing well. Whoever is watching this, it's a good initiative to share your knowledge and make others aware. As Rishabh has already said, my name is Sarthak Mishra, currently living in Western Australia. I've been living in Australia for about 5 years now, so I did my master's degree from here. And my current role is as a football development officer, or you can call it sports development officer at Football West. And Football West is the governing body for football in Western Australian state of Australia. Yeah. So, that's a bit of introduction, and obviously everyone's talking about COVID, so why shouldn't we? I mean, it's sad that this pandemic has affected everyone around the globe, and my sincere thoughts with everyone who has bared loss, including myself. So I lost my grandpa last month due to COVID, so it's been tough for everyone, and I hope this gets well and the world comes back to normal. But we have been sort of coming from a football perspective. We have been a little bit lucky in that sense in Western Australia. So we had COVID for a short while, and then we came back pretty fast. So we shut down all our football activities for about 2 to 3 months. But then, the government was fantastic in, stopping the spread. So we did not have any community transmissions for a long time. And then we started all our sporting activities pretty soon, and it's going pretty chilled right now. And obviously we had to adjust a lot. We did go to some virtual kind of meetings and virtual kind of trainings, which was later adopted by pretty much the whole world. So we were sort of pretty proud to be leaders in that way. And now we are back to normal activities. Talking from my personal context, I'm actually being transferred to another region now. So I've done a couple of good things in the region where I was. I started the very first ever female-only regional training center in football. Then I did a couple of other programs for the indigenous population here. Then we also organized a couple of big programs like Festival of Football, where we had National Premier League games and Perth Glory to come down and play in my region. Since I've done and dusted all those things there, it was a pretty good journey. Now they are giving me a new set of challenges. So I'm moving about 2,200 kilometers from where I was. So I'm just in sort of transition right now. I'm somewhere in the midway, and then I'll be moving up soon.
So West Australia, East Australia, North, South, where?
Well, I'm in Western Australia, but I was in the down south. Now I'm moving up north.
Up north.
So I was close to Antarctica. Now I'm moving a little bit closer to India.
The ऊपर wild और ये सब natural beauty ज़्यादा है ना? Like
well, natural beauty is all around the coast. Beach में Australia is a bit deserted, but down south it was more I'm in West, so I'm talking about Western Australia. The down south of Western Australia is a biodiversity hotspot. And believe it or
Okay.
not, वहाँ पे आपको whales मिलते हैं. The whales might, during their migration course, वो नीचे से start करके Antarctica and they go towards over there. So I've seen a couple of them. I've actually kayaked with a couple of whales. I've got some cool videos. And you also have very cold front, so very cold, windy and rainy because it's not sheltered. It's like the southern point of Australia. So all the
Yeah.
cold front that comes from Antarctica, we cop all that. So it's been heaps
Oh,
cold. Now I'm moving up north where it's very hot. So usual
hot.
temperature is about 40, 45, 50 degrees. So it's going to be, I'll need my sun cream.
Man. You have been from Jaipur, Rajasthan, so yeah, the sun and the hotness is always there, and our body is accommodated to that.
It's hot, but it's different hot up here because the ozone layer is so thin. The sun is very bright, very, very bright. So you get that, very stinking, burning kind of hot. Yeah.
So we are glad to hear about how you have
And
started.
I'm quite jealous right now, as you have mentioned about the natural beauty and whales, because I'm currently putting up in Delhi, and when I move out of my house, the only thing that I see are just cats and dogs and a dhobi cart outside my house. Nothing scenic about it.
It is.
Nothing natural.
Well, you get.
That's sad, man. That's sad.
I'm sure
I'm
Bangalore
also
is not
facing the same thing.
any better.
Obviously, I'm facing the same thing, so I totally get that. So to continue, definitely would like to know how it all started. At what point of time in your life you realize that this is something you want to kind of have your career with, the sports, the football, and so to say, because I remember one story. कि आपका चालू कैसे हुआ था? वो 6th standard Ajmer, and that is an interesting incident which happened.
Well, I would say, look, I think it happens every day. It happens every day. Every day, every morning in my life, I realize that this is the thing that I want to do. And exactly kahan se it started driving me. So it wasn't something overnight, but I guess it was a gradual progress and a set of challenges, constant failures, constant, thinking process, which has led me so far. But I think, I think it's going to be, I feel like, and I'm sure I've only started. So there's a long, long, long journey ahead. I still have to learn a lot of things. I still have to experience a lot of things. And I think that's how we all should be. So, but however, I think I've been into sports from a very young age. When I was in class 6, that is when I was dragged by one of my friends to just go and, I think they were filling numbers for cricket or something. That, let's go play some cricket. I went there, and then as soon as I saw cricket, I was like, nah, not my thing. I don't know. It was just a spark. I said, nah, not my thing. Stuff that. Then I think on the same day, they were doing some long jumps and stuff like that, in the school days. So I just went there. I did a couple of long jumps. So I've always been average. So it's not something I had a gifted talent or something. I was pretty average, below average. But I always had that spark in me that if I pick something, if I go after something, I'm gonna outsmart everyone. I'm gonna outwork everyone, and I will give my best, and I'm gonna beat can't say that word, but everyone in the competition. Right? So that's where I picked from, did some bit of athletics. Then they said, we have got some spaces in football. Would you like to join football? And I was like, fuck yeah, because I don't have to go to tuition then. So this is how all started. Look, one of my biggest motivations was to run away from freaking studies. Yep. So I was saying it's very important to study. You just got to be patient. You have to complete it. But I think if the higher ups in our country, the education policy formers and all them, if they make this whole study journey a bit more interesting, a bit more accommodating or I should say a bit more structured to what people actually love doing, and then parents don't force them, because I only started enjoying studies when I did my master's in sports management. And not only I enjoyed, but I scored excellent marks. And, suddenly there was a vibe that, this idiot who doesn't even like studying, he's getting distinction everywhere, and people are coming to me asking my suggestions, getting me involved in every project because I enjoyed it. So I think studies are important. My motivation was to run away from studies, and then I got very initially involved in football. Couple of stories happened there. I might have shared one before, and because you are doing interview, it's mandatory to have that masala and a bit of motivation and all those things. So here's my piece of masala is that um, I didn't have any shoes to go and play football. Because I was in sixth standard, hardly knew anything. I was used to roam around in my chappals or my bata shoes, the only two pair of footwears I had. So I thought, let's wear something which is very sturdy and very hard and go and play football. And in our garage, I used to live in Ajmer back then. In our garage, there was dusty old pair of boots, office boots of my dad.
Yeah.
I said, okay, let's wear this. Nobody would find out. I was fucking stupid back then. So put on my dad's shoes, office shoes, went to play, and man, I was looking some clown that day. People absolutely smashed me. That story about wearing my dad's shoes, that gave me some fire. And then I started working hard, and I think in the same year I scored, I think I still have that I think newspaper cutting where it said I scored 7 goals against the final team, and and then it's been just upwards and onwards since then. Moved to Jaipur, studied in Xavier's, did the captaincy for Xavier's in football team and overall sports. I was the general captain. And then I had a bit of I would say a bit of a discourse as in not from my sports, but my education. So I was pushed into, you have that pressure from your parents and everyone after school, what do you want to study and whatnot. And I said, you know what? I went to Hansraj in Delhi. I said, I'll try out for Delhi University.
Yeah.
My competition was crap. People might think I'm arrogant, but I was confident I could beat the crap out of them. Like I was so good in football, but politics came in and all those things. Yeah. I didn't get admission there. I came back. I said, you know what? I'll just play in Jaipur. So I just took admission in St. Xavier's and chilled around, started cycling, started doing some boxing, had my surgeries on shoulder by then. I had a broken leg and heaps of interesting stories. And then as soon as I finished my bachelor's in public administration and economics, then I decided to fly over here and do my sports management.
Okay. Actually, that brings us to the next thing, because you did mention, about this education and you running away from it, and then you getting into a place where you were scoring the highest of marks. So, following up, you did your master's degree from in sports management, right? And from La Trobe University, Australia.
Yep. Yeah, Melbourne.
So, how important do you feel that particular degree or education qualification was in your career and is in your career, right? Like currently,
or to put it
more
this
on the
way,
line,
or to put it this way, what Rishabh said, that how important is an educational qualification in your field? Do you think someone without a degree in sports management can get into this with a particular skill set?
Well, look, my statement would be education is important regardless of what industry you are working in. It's something that's going to give you wisdom and that's going to set you up for your life. Doesn't matter whatever level it is, whatever industry it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of sports management, because it's now an industry, it's a multi-million-dollar industry, and there's so many diverse kind of people and, people from different skill sets that come into this industry. So having an educational degree gives you some sort of framework and background on how you are expected to operate in a professional environment. Now, that doesn't stop you from coming into the industry if you haven't done your degree. In fact, a lot of coaches ex-players, former players, they come into the industry with no educational degree. They work there for a bit, but they again go back when they realize, no, we need to upskill ourselves or we need to learn the management skills. They go back and study and then come back. So it's not really necessary that you won't be able to get a job if you don't have a degree. But then you also got to realize that you have to have some skill set, knowledge, or experience, and a blend of everything.
Uh, when did you graduated from La Trobe?
I graduated in 2018, mid 2018, mid to last.
You didn't get a chance to meet Shahrukh yet. Nice. he
I never
actually
wanted to meet
got a
him.
doctorate. Yeah, he got a doctorate from there, na, La Trobe.
Yeah.